Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Ino kissed Naruto Sasuke bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Ranita Forever and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chap 1. They're dating. Sake and sleepover. Sometimes I wonder why or when did I fall in love, but like every time I ask myself those questions, I still can't answer them. Maybe I know the when I started to notice it, but not when it started. Perhaps it started the first time I saw him return after his trip with Jiraiya, pervert. Or maybe when he came to back us up and eventually end up killing one of those Akatsuki morons that killed our sensei. Or maybe it was the first time I saw him, the real him, and not the stupid self he always shows others. I mean, he can be loud and oblivious and incredibly annoying when he wants to, but he can also be kind and loyal to his friends. And he's always there for you when you need someone to talk to or just be there so you won't feel alone. He's smart, but not Shikamaru smart, it's just that he doesn't show it. Deception is the key to a ninja and the best tool at his disposal after all. I'm pretty sure you all can figure out who he is by now, but I can't say it to anyone cause who would believe that I, Yamanaka Ino, is madly, completely and hopelessly in love with the one and only unpredictable knuckle-headed blonde Konoha has ever produced. Yes, you've heard it right, I'm in love with Uzumaki Naruto. But here I am, in my family's flower shop, daydreaming about my blonde-haired crush, when the front door of the shop opens to reveal none other than my friend rival, even though she's not my rival for the traders, Sasuke, feelings anymore, rather for her other teammate. The blonde with wild untamable hair, eyes so blue that reminds you of the calm ocean, those pure and bright orb that just makes you want to drown under his gaze. Oh, how I wish he would just looked at me the same way he looks at her. Hey pig. What are you doing Saturday night? Asked my pink-haired friend rival. I don't know, stay home. Why? I answer to her, raising a shapely blonde eyebrow. Kiba's having a party and all of us are coming, she said with a smile. I know for a fact that Sasuke-kun would be there. As she said the trader's name, her smile grew wider. Like I care, I thought. Oh really? Then I'm going for sure. Forehead. If Sasuke is going, obviously Naruto's going to be there as well, I thought with a smile. Sakura, obviously misinterpreting my smile, went on a fit and rambled for a while on how Sasuke was hers and she would never be with him, which suited me just fine, and I couldn't care less what that traitor thought of me anyways. All I could think about was what was I going to wear so Naruto would notice me instead of Forehead. Hey pig, wake up, I'm talking to you, she screamed at me. Sorry Forehead, I was just imagining the look of Sasuke-kun when he sees me at the party, I said smugly just to tease her. Yeah right, she snorted, like he's ever going to notice anything but your fat ass. She snapped at me with a victory smile that I would have gladly whipped away from her face, but on the inside I was dancing and jumping up and down, that she didn't care about Naruto, that would leave me a clear path to his heart, even if I still have another bitch to compete with. Fortunately for me, she's too shy to say anything to him, so I would easily win over her. At least some guys love a big butt, but you can't say the same about that huge forehead of yours. Point, set and match forehead. Ino 104. Sakura 72, I thought with a huge smile. Sakura just walked away and said yeah, whatever, keep telling yourself that if it makes you feel better pig. Anyway, the party starts at 9, don't be late, and then she left the shop. Okay, so maybe I overdid it a bit with that comeback, but hey. I don't have a fat ass, damn it. Tonight was our weekly dinner with my team. We'll go every Monday to the BBQ place we used to go with Asuma sensei. It's been 4 years since Akatsuki was defeated and Sasuke returned to Konoha. Everyone was shocked when we saw all of Team 7 returning to the village. So I was in the front right, Yamato on the left. In the middle was a chained Sasuke. Sakura and Kakashi were on the rear. And Naruto was on Kakashi's back. As the Hokage saw this, she ran quickly to Kakashi's side to know Naruto's state and what the hell had happened. Kakashi said that Naruto was unconscious from chakra exhaustion and his life wasn't in any danger. All the rest Team 7 looked bad, scarred and exhausted. After a few days of rest, Naruto was 100% again. He never talked about the day he fought Sasuke, nor the Akatsuki. If anyone asked him, he would change the subject or simple walked away and ignore you, or shunshin away. Even Sakura wouldn't talk about it. We heard from Sai that when he and Yamato found them, Sakura was healing Sasuke and Kakashi was trying to give Naruto some chakra. After that they'd traveled back to Konoha. Neither had seen the actual battle between them. After a year of good behavior, Sasuke swore loyalty to Konoha again and was re-established as a shinobi. Sakura is still a chunin and now taught medicine and basic first aid at the academy and works part-time at the hospital. Naruto is a jonin and Sasuke is taking this year's chunin exams after his 3-year probation as a ninja. Neji, Tenten and Kiba are Anbus now. Lee's a jonin sensei and is following guys teaching with his own genin squad. Choji and Shikamaru are part of the staff in the Hokage Tower. Hinata and Shino are soon to be clan heads. And I'm a Jonin trying to get to Anbu. So here I am, waiting for the lazy ass Nara and the black hole Akimichi to arrive so I can stop my thoughts when I saw him. Here I was walking down the street towards my favorite place in Konoha. Ichiraku's ramen, or as I like to call it, heaven on earth, for a well-deserved bowl of ramen after a crappy day of the usual glares and hate from the villagers. Even though I brought back their precious Sharingan user, they still hate me. First, my morning shower was cold again. The power in my house went off before my healthy and precious cup of ramen was done in the microwave. I got out and tried to buy a loaf of bread or some dango or something for breakfast without luck, then went training, missed lunch, got a crappy mission accompanying Lee's team on a C rank, caused Lee call in sick, got back around 7, got in the shower, but this time, it was boiling hot, lucky me, got dressed and walked out. Avoided many streets and glares as I could, and as I was walking I saw something that froze my heart to the very core. There was Sasuke, dressed in black pants and a white high-collar shirt with a rose in his hand, standing in front of Sakura's apartment. My world stopped as I saw the look on her face when she opened the door. She had a light blue knee-high summer dress and a black jacket in her hands. She looked beautiful with her shoulder-length pink hair done in little curls on the end. Her cheeks were flushed a nice shade of pink that glowed in contrast to her pale skin, and her eyes, I couldn't even look at them. I had to get away from that scene that was now engraved on my mind. I run from there as fast as I could. Seriously, could my day got any worse? And of course it can. The gods must hate me too, or they have a fucking good laugh at my expense, cause as I walk through the street I thought led to Ichiraku's, I run into the one person that could make my life more miserable than already was. One Yamanaka Ino. "Hey Naruto. How are you?" she said, smiling at me, which she had been doing a lot recently. It disturbed me greatly. "I'm fine," I lied, and she noticed. Damned Yamanakas and their interrogation skills. "Are you sure?" She sounded concerned, but I know she doesn't care. "Yeah, why would you care?" I said to her, annoyed. I really wanted this day to end fast. "What do you mean I don't care?" "Of course I care, we're friends, right?" she said, almost yelling at me, but that was just her usual tone for me. "Yeah, whatever, look, I'm okay, alright, I just want to eat, walk back home and be alone, okay? See ya," I said as I walked away without even looking at her. After my run with Naruto, all I could think about was what had happened to him. Why was he in such a bad mood? It's like they had told him it was the last day that would serve ramen in Konoha. His eyes were dull, there was no light, no life in them. Even if he tried to fool me, I know something bad and mayor happened. After my dinner with Shikamaru and Choji ended, I walked back home thinking about the blonde of my dreams. As I was walking through the park near my building, I saw Sasuke and Sakura walking and talking. I didn't find it odd, considering they did that a lot lately, but what I noticed now was that they were holding hands, and then it hit me. That was why she knew Sasuke was going to the party, and why she had that victorious smile earlier. They were dating. Oh god, was that why Naruto was so down? Had he seen them together? And it clicked now, all of it, why he needed to be alone, his cold eyes, his heart was broken. I turned and changed my direction. He was going to need someone right now, or else he might do something stupid. As I finished my 7th bowl of ramen, I couldn't take my mind off those two, all I could think about was them. Fuck. I needed a drink now, not that my problems will be solved after drowning myself in alcohol, I knew better. It hadn't worked for Tsunade or Jiraiya, but I just needed to forget, just for tonight. As I was walking back to my apartment, I passed a liquor store and bought 3 bottles of sake. That was all I could afford with the money I had on me right now. Thankfully the owner didn't know anything about the Kyuubi, which was good for me. I arrived at my apartment and turned the radio on. I didn't care what kind of music was playing now, only that it helped to numb my thoughts. I opened the first bottle, pour it in a cup, and drank it fast. My throat burned, and my eyes shut as I felt how the alcohol went down my body, warming it. I kept pouring the sake until I heard a knock on my door. I got up as best as I could and shouted aloud, "Coming," so whoever was at the door could hear it over the loud music. My legs felt like jello, and my body was numb. I tripped with my own feet and fell on the floor. My body was telling me to just lay there, but the knock told me to get up and answer it, even if I preferred my first choice. I got up again and walked to the front. I opened it, and to my surprise the one at my door was none other than Yamanaka Ino. "Hey, I'm sorry for yelling at you today, but you look so down that I wanted to make sure you were okay. Can I come in?" I said as soon as he opened the door. He was wearing a black t-shirt and black pants, his hair wilder than I've ever seen it. This was cause he wasn't wearing his hit I-8 around his forehead to keep it out the way. And he was also slightly balancing on the door, a clear evidence that he was drinking. Sure Ino, come in," he said, and I could smell the sake on his breath. Now my suspicions had been correct. How did I knew he had seen them? Easy, he never got drunk alone. Yes, he drinks alcohol once in a while, but always when we were partying or in a special occasion, never in the middle of the week. This was bad. As I walked in, I noticed how small his apartment was. It had a bedroom and living room all in one, a kitchen and a bathroom. Near the bed was a dresser with 5 pictures on top of it. One of Team 7 in their Genin days. The standard picture all new teams do when they're formed. She still had hers of Team 10. One with the Sandane with a 5-year-old Naruto sitting on his shoulders, the Hokage hat in his tinny hands. The third had a small amused smile on his face, while Naruto sported his now famous foxy grin. One of the rookie 9+ guys team without Sasuke when Naruto returned from his 2.5-year training trip. One of Naruto and Jiraiya in a festival somewhere. And the last one was when he'd made Jonin. He was in the middle between Tsunade and Shizune at Ichiraku's, with AM and Tucci in the back, Naruto again smiling his foxy grin proudly wearing his new vest. In the corner of the room was a table with 2 chairs and 3 bottles of sake, one empty, and the others were still closed. There was cloths on the floor and the bed, and a towel drying on one of the chairs. "Sorry for the mess, I wasn't expecting anyone," he said as he turned down the music and started collecting the cloths and drying towel, shoving them inside a basket in the bathroom. "It's okay," I said. "Do you want to sit down and have a drink or do you prefer to standing there at the door all night?" he said to me as he walked back to his chair. "Pour it Uzumaki," I said as I walked to the other chair and sat down. He served both our cups and said, "Bottoms up," drinking it all. He closed his eyes and gave a sigh after he finished. I just drank a sip. "So, how are you?" I asked him. "Almost drunk," he responded. I can see that I said almost in a whisper, but I meant how do you feel? "What made you drink like this, cause I know you never get drunk not even at the parties we go." He poured himself another cup, drank it all, and then said today was just a crappy day. "How so? What happened?" I said and drank a little more. He looked at me. He looked a little uncomfortable so I said come on, you can tell me, it will help you let it out, I won't tell anyone, I promise and I smiled at him. He sighed as I said it was a crappy day, my morning shower was cold, I couldn't eat breakfast cause my electricity went off, I couldn't buy it either, then I had to cover for Lee with his Genin team cause he was sick, they're as youthful as him he shrugged at this, then got home and took another shower, only this one was boiling hot, went to Ichiraku's, and on my way there I saw Sasuke outside Sakura's apartment with a rose in his hands he poured another cup I knew they were close. But I still thought I had a chance with her, what a stupid idea, nah. And he drank half of his cup. "So they're really dating, huh?" I said, and drank what was left of my cup. "Yeah," he said as he looked at his half-empty cup. Silence filled the room as Black of Pearl Jam started playing on the radio. The silence lasted for 3 more songs as I tried to say something, but didn't have the courage to say it. I've never felt like I couldn't say what was on my mind, so I took my cup, poured another shot and drank it all at once, trying to find the courage I needed to say what I was thinking on the sake. "You know you're a great guy, I'm sure you'll find someone who loves you like me," I thought. I mean come on. You're independent, a great shinobi, the possible next Hokage, a Jonin, you're barely 20 and you're hot, girls would be all over you, if they already aren't. He looked at me with wide glassy eyes, and his mouth slightly agape. "What? Did I say something you're not?" I asked as I looked straight into his dark azure eyes. "You think I'm hot?" he asked as a little pinkish hue spread on his whiskered cheeks. "Fuck. Stupid, stupid, stupid Ino. Just great." I kicked myself for saying that out loud. Sure, I think you're attractive, you're handsome, tall, and I'm pretty sure underneath that cloth is a very well-built body, I mean it had to be cause you train like, a lot right? And girls like that in a guy. I was rambling and I knew it. You're blonde and tanned, and your eyes are very expressive, and those whiskers makes you look exotic, plus you're not a pervert, even if you're too sensei are that's always a plus, so yeah, I think you're hot Uzumaki, and I don't say it to many guys. I finished, and I could feel my cheeks getting warmer, and I could feel myself blushing, but I tried to fight it, I was not Hinata for Kami's sake. And besides I could be blushing because of the sake, right? Nothing to do with the blonde in front of me and his piercing blue eyes that held my own. "Thanks, I think you're hot too Ino," he said grinning at me, and I smiled back. "You could get any guy you wanted. But I want you, damn it," I screamed in my head. "So, here's to find the love we deserve," he said as he raised his cup. After a couple of hours drinking and talking we were both drunk, so I asked her if she wanted to stay here for the night, cause none of us was in a decent state to leave the house anyway. She said yes, so I gentlemanly gave her my bed and I would sleep on the floor. "You know I feel bad for taking your bed," she said as she got out of the bathroom with one of my old t-shirts for her to sleep in. "It's okay though, I didn't mean to get you drunk too," I said smiling, but it was almost a perverted smile. I mean, I had a gorgeous woman in nothing but a shirt sleeping in my bed. I tried to put those thoughts on the back of my mind though, even if she's no Sakura, she still has a mean right hook. I may be drunk, but I'm not suicidal. "I'm not drunk," she yelled. "Not so loud Ino," I said calming her a bit. "Mean it's 3 in the fucking morning for Kami's sake." Sorry, she said as she sat on the bed, her platinum free from her ponytail laid freely on my pillow. I wanted to touch it and feel how soft it was, even though my eyes traveled down for a second or two towards her long leg and creamy skin all the way up tono. Wait, this is Ino, what the hell am I thinking? Fucking sake, messing with my head. Damned hormones too. So I don't mind sharing the bed with you, you know. She said as she patted one side. Are you sure? You're not going to hit me and then call me a pervert? I asked fearful. I like my life, thank you very much. Come on, Uzumaki. Afraid of a little girl? I'm not going to bite you hard, she said with a mischievous smile. Like you could ever bite me, I yelled at her. Not so loud, Naruto, she said in a low voice. Now come to bed, I'm cold. I sighed and pulled up my shirt and turned off the lights. I laid down and gave her my back, so I'm not tempted to do something I would regret in the morning or get kicked for later, but to my surprise she put her head on my back, her hot breath tickled my neck, and she snaked her arm over me and held one of my hands, her fingers intertwined with mine, and she murmured in my ear, "Night Naruto-kun," and she kissed me on the spot between the neck and the shoulder. A shiver ran down my spine as she did it. I blushed hard, I couldn't believe it. Yamanaka Ino was in my bed, in only a t-shirt and panties, hugging and holding me, and then she kisses me. Me. Uzumaki Naruto. I was stunned. A few minutes passed, and I could feel her even breaths on my back. She was asleep. Maybe my day wasn't so crappy after all, and with a smile on my lips, I surrendered to exhaustion and into a world of bliss and dreams, no longer filled with a certain pink and emerald eyes girl, but with a platinum blonde. As I tried to turn around, I felt my head spin and hurt. I turned slowly now and hugged my pillow, or what I thought was my pillow, but this pillow was warm and soft and strangely smell of flowers. I reluctantly opened one eye to see a sea of platinum hair on top of my chest, and I tried to remember why Ino, the only person I know with platinum hair, was sleeping in my bed. Oh yeah, I was drinking and she showed up, then we started drinking again and went to bed. As I tried to get up, she stirred and softly murmured, "Naruto-kun," as she snuggles on my side. I just smiled. Never thought I would hear that from her lips. "Morning, sleepyhead. Where you going?" she said as her grip on me tightened. "To the bathroom for some aspirins." My smile widened. "Oh, can you get me some too? My head's killing me," she said, letting me go. "Yeah, sure." I got up and walked to my medicine cabinet, which was stocked poorly. All I have were some stuff Sakura-chan gave me. Sakura, right, that was why I was drinking last night. I needed to stop thinking about her like that now, and she's with Sasuke. "Don't you eat anything that doesn't have noodles in it?" Ino yelled from the kitchen. "There, yeah," I said as I got the aspirins. "Sure you do. So how do you drink your coffee?" she said as she poured 2 cups. "Black, 2 sugars," I said as I sat on a counter. "You?" "Milk, 3 sugars," she said as she passed me a cup. I thanked her and passed her some pills. "Are you feeling better?" "Yeah, I just needed to drown myself in sake and let it go. I always knew that when I brought him back I would lose her, even though she was never mine to begin with." I chuckled a little at that, but I didn't know it would hurt this much. "You'll get over it." "I hope so." "Well, Uzumaki, I got to go. My shift in the flower shop starts in half an hour." "I hope you're feeling better. Can I use your bathroom for a little bit?" she asked as she put her cup in the sink. "Yeah, sure, the towels are in there if you need them," I said as I wandered back to bed. Once there, I looked at the ceiling and let my thought run in my head. I'm happy that she finally got the man she always wanted. Now I got to let her go. I turned to the side. "I'm sure you'll find someone who loves you." "I hope you're right, Ino." I closed my eyes and drifted back to sleep. I really didn't want to leave him alone, but my mother would kill me if I skipped work, especially today, since it was my parents' anniversary. She wanted to go to a spa. God, how I wish I could have stayed all day with Naruto, sleeping in his arms, hearing his voice, feeling his breath on my skin. That thought sent shivers down my spine. "No, wait. Stop thinking that stuff, Ino. You need to hurry or you're dead." I took a quick shower, dressed, and when I walked back to the living bedroom, Naruto was asleep. I chuckled a bit. I went to kiss his cheek and he mumbled something I didn't get, so I left the apartment and closed the door as stealthily as I could, not wanting to wake him up, and began hopping across the rooftops in direction to the flower shop. When I got there, I flipped the open sign and walked behind the counter towards the back door that goes to my parents' kitchen. As I was making a sandwich, my mom walked in. "Hey honey, thanks for coming on your day off, I really appreciate it." Yeah, go and have fun." "I got to go back out," I said, sandwich in hand, through the door. "Lunch is on the fridge," Mom yelled as I closed the door. It was a slow morning and I was bored out of my mind, but at least had time to work on the arrangement for my dad and would come home just as I closed the shop. He'd already gave me the list of flower he wanted for the bouquet, I just needed to out it together. I danced through the shop picking the flowers for my dad. His radio was playing one of my favorite songs. As I had all the flowers, I started to put them together. Well, I kept singing Way of Key, but hey. Who can sing on par to Whitney Houston anyway? I was so caught up, I didn't heard the doorbell of the front of the shop until the person was in front of the counter. "Hey pig. Do you want to go grab lunch with me?" asked my pink-haired friend who was the one who'd entered the shop, but I didn't noticed an orange figure on the back. Sure, but my mom left me some food, do you want to eat here?" I asked her. "Sure, I'll tell Naruto I'll be here." "Wait, he's here." I screamed at her. "Yeah, he's in there looking at some plants or whatever." She waved her hand in the direction of the now visible orange figure that she hadn't noticed before. "Hey Naruto. Do you want to have lunch with us?" I yelled at him and Sakura shot me a dirty look. He turned around and said, "Hey Ino-chan." And he used his trademark foxy grin. My knees started to feel like jello. "Sorry, but I promised the guys I would train with them." He rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. "He looks so cute," I squalled inwardly, damn my inner fangirl. "Hey, that's okay, so what are you looking for?" I asked that as I walked next to him. I didn't want Sakura to notice my blush. "Nothing much." He looked straight at me. "How's the hangover?" he asked in a low voice so Sakura couldn't listen. "I'm okay, I didn't drink as much as you did." I smiled at him. "Well, you tend to hold your liquor better once you've hang around Tsunade Bachin and Hirosenin as much as I do." His eyes traveled back to the plan he was looking earlier. "Hey, I wanted to thank you for keeping me company last night and for saying all the stuff you said, it really meant a lot to me." He smiled a small smile and I knew this one was a real one. "You're welcome, and I meant every word I said." Naruto-kun. I saw how his eyes widened at the added suffix to his name. I chuckled and walked back to where Sakura was. Naruto said goodbye to us with a dumbfounded expression on his face as he left the shop. All I could do was laugh at his dazzled look. "So forehead, do you want to eat or not?" I said aloud as I out on the lunch sign at the door. As I turned around I chuckled at Sakura's blank look. "What's up with him?" the pink-haired girl said. "How should I know? You're his teammate, you're the one who knows him better." I said in a serious tone, but on the inside, I was cheering and jumping. Ino 105. Sakura 72. "I don't know, something is up with him, he's not his usual self, you know," she said as she sat down at the kitchen table. "What do you mean?" "I didn't notice anything weird about him," I said as I got out the food my mom left on the fridge, a lettuce and some tomatoes for salad. "How can you say that? He called you Ino-chan and didn't try to ask me on a date or have lunch with him or wasn't his usual obnoxious self," the emerald-eye girl said with a shocked and disbelieved face. "Oh. Now that you mention it, he did call me Ino-chan," I said as I peeled the tomatoes with a smile on my face. "Yes." Sakura rolled her eyes at me. "So you said that he didn't ask you out on a date, how come that's a bad thing? I mean, you live complaining about that, and now that he stops you're complaining that he stops asking you. I don't get you, forehead. Isn't that what you've wanted for the past, I don't know, decade or something?" I said as I started to slice the tomatoes. "Yeah, you're right, it's a good thing that he'd stopped, and it's just so sudden, you know. I mean, just yesterday he is his usual self and today he's like a very different person. It's like he got over me overnight and I don't know what I did for him to be like this. If I did I would have done it a lot sooner. You know, pig. He didn't even told me Sakura-chan like he used to for kami no how long. Maybe he realized you're a lost cause and that you will never love him back, so maybe he just moved on," I said as I finished with the tomatoes and moved on to the lettuce. "Maybe I should confront him," my pink-haired friend said. "I don't know if that's a good idea, forehead. You just said that he just changed today, maybe he doesn't want to talk about it just yet, give him some time to process whatever made him change." "So you're saying I should avoid him?" "No. I'm saying that just don't bring the subject up yet, maybe he's just stresses out or something and you're just overreacting. I mean, let's face it, the boy has been head over heels for you since the academy, that doesn't just go away overnight, you know." "Yeah, you're right, pig, so what are we having for lunch?" After training I could stop thinking about Ino, she had changed a lot since I got back 4 years ago, she's been nicer to me since that. She was there for me when Hirosenin died. I thought it was because she knew what I was going through. She didn't say a word. She was just there keeping me company. After my talk with Shikamaru, I felt better. However, thanks to her I wasn't alone. When we brought Sasuke team back, she never went to see him. She would always come visit me to the hospital and she would bring a flower with her. It was nice of her to do that. Sure, Sakura came to visit too, but her visits were always work-related. She would come and do his checkups, talk about how Sasuke was doing and then left. Ino on the other hand would come and talk for hours with me. It was then that I saw why Sakura and she were friends, even though they were at each other's throats every now and then. Nevertheless, I was glad and happy that she considered me one of her friends. Ino was like a beautiful rose. Pretty and dangerous, delicate, but if you made her angry she would hurt you until no end. She's kind and comfortable to be around. She can be the prettiest in a room, but never overshadows another girl. Sure, in the past, she was loud and vain, but now she's mature and if she can make a friend feel better she would without thinking about it and she would go out of her way and do everything to make it possible. She still loves attention, just not any kind of attention like me. I just hoped I'd realized a lot sooner what a great girl she really is. Maybe I need to thank her properly for last night and it would help me not to be alone again. Maybe if I made her dinner. Because I don't have enough money to take her out. Nah, she probably has plans already, but I don't lose anything with asking, right? I mean, one more rejection won't hurt, right? I'm going to ask Xiaoji for help, at least he won't get the wrong idea like Kiba would or say it's too troublesome like Shikamaru would. Maybe I should ask a girl's opinion, but I don't know many girls whom let's see Tenten and Hinata are busy. I could ask Sakura, but I don't want her laughing at me. Oh, I know. I'll ask Bachan. I jump through the rooftops of Konoha in the direction of the Hokage Tower. I enter Bachan's office through the window only to find the old hag sleeping at her desk. And with a mischievous grin, I made a familiar cross with my fingers and whispered the jutsu. Page Bunshin no jutsu. I gave my clones a nod when they got into position as I got on the ceiling. I count to 3 in my head and put my plan into motion. A slim figure with killer curves walks into a casino. Her hazel eyes show determination. She's dressed in white top and blue capris with black high heels, her blonde hair tied into 2 low pigtails. She has a purple diamond mark on her forehead and a green and black robe that on the back has the kanji for legendary sucker. As Tsunade walks around the slots machine, all the men inside the casino looks at her with hungry eyes. But as her hazel eyes travel through the faces of her many admirers, she catches a glimpse of spiky white hair near the bar. As she walks closer to the bar, the figure turns around to face her and her breath caught in her throat. There at the bar is none other than her deceased teammate Jiraiya. A single tear runs down her cheek as she's frozen in her steps. He grins at her, picks up his drink, and motions her to a solitaire blackjack table. She sits down in front of him. Neither said a word. A waiter offers her something to drink and she orders a bottle of sake as the dealer shuffles the deck of cards. Tsunade looks deep into the eyes of the man in front of her. Why is that pervert in my dream? He's never been in one of them before. She lowers her gaze towards the 2 cards in front of her. A jack and a 9 of clovers. And places her bet. The pervert in front of her does the same. And the dealer flopped the river. Damn, I lost, thought the blonde medic. Damn lucky bastard, she cursed under her breath. Causing the pervert to smile. Even in my fucking dreams I can't win. They kept playing for a little while until the toad san and said, how you've been, Haim. It's boring without you, perv. I have no one to hit. Ha ha ha, but you got the brat for that, don't you? Yeah, but is not the same, he always ruins it with those stupid clones of his. Damn, I lost again. Listen, Haim, he said seriously, the reason I came here is because. Jiraiya's voice was muted by another one. Bachan, wake up. What? Jiraiya, say it again, I didn't hear you, she said as she tried to get closer to the white-haired ninja. I said, Bachan, wake up. As she blinked, the casino was gone and a pile of paperwork came to her vision. A vein popped on her forehead and her fist connected with the face of a smiling blonde. A poof was heard in the Hokage's office. I'm so glad you woke up, Bachan. Poof. Another fist connected a clone. Please, Bachan, I need your help. Poof. But something I had planned. Poof. For tonight. Poof. Pause. Poof. I need poof. To thank poof. Ino-chan. Poof. But the dinner. Poof. Or something. Poof. So poof. I poof. Need poof. Your poof. Opinion. Poof. Please. Poof. As I saw Tsunade a little more calmed, I dispelled all the other clones and came sewn from the ceiling. So are you going to help me? You're the only woman I can talk about this stuff. I looked at her with pleading eyes, waiting for her answer. So is Ino-chan now, Nabrat. She said with the scariest smile I have ever seen, and I knew she was going to torture me until my death. Yeah, so? That's not important, what can I do to thank her? First, yes it is important, and second, why are you thanking her for? She said as she walked back to her desk and started to read some scrolls. Well, I started as I sat down in a chair in front of her. Yesterday I was having the same old crappy day. Moreover, you did not help with that C rank you threw on me, by the way. But when I was on my way to get some ramen, I saw Sakura and Sasuke going out on a date, and I know it was a date cause Sasuke team had a rose in his hands. So? Where does Ino come into all this? She said as she signed some papers. I was a little depressed and I bumped into her, and I guess she got worried or something, because later she came to my apartment to keep me company and to talk, so I want to do something for her to thank her for being there for me. So what do you have in mind? You said something about dinner, right? Yeah, I was thinking about taking her out or something, but I'm a little short on cash, so I thought I could make her some, so do you think she'll like it? I said as I found something very interesting on the floor. You can cook. She said, almost laughing. Yes, does everyone think I live of ramen or something? I said, irritated. Pretty much, she said, giggling, but yeah, I think she would like it if you made her dinner, it would be like a date. She finished smiling. A date? I yelled, but that's not what I meant, I said, shocked and to my horror blushing. Aw, the brat's all gowned up, I need to tell Shizune, she said as she got up and left the office. Wait, Bachan. It's not a date. I yelled, still red as tomato. Shizune, come here and bring the sake. We need to celebrate that the brat is becoming a man. I heard her yell. Man, now I'm screwed, thank God Iro-senin it's not here to start giving me his books to learn a few tips like he always did. Wait, Tsunade-sama, what do you mean that Naruto has a date? And why do you need sake? I heard Shizune at the other side of the door. That's what I said, the brat's got a date with the Yamanaka girl, now we need to celebrate, just get the sake and come have a drink. The blonde Hokage said. It's not a date. After Sakura left, I couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. Was Naruto really over her? Maybe now I got a shot with him. I mean, he did call me Ino-chan. And he'd never called me that before. I grinned. I looked at the clock. 5:35. Just 20 more minutes and I'm out. I'm going to train for a bit, have a long bath, then watch a movie and call it a night. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I went to the back of the shop for a nice paper to wrap my dad's bouquet when I heard the doorbell. Hi, welcome to Yamanaka's flower shop, how can I help you? I said cheerfully. Hey Ino-chan, can I ask you a question? Said the blonde of my dreams. Hey Naruto-kun, sure, what do you need to know? If you invite a girl over for a dinner, which is just a friend, does that count as a date? He said, blushing. I was shocked. Did Naruto have a date? How? When? With who? I'm gonna kill that bitch. Not necessarily. Do you like this girl more than a friend? Say no please, I was pulling my hair on the inside, please say no. I don't know, maybe. Kill me now? I thought. Oh, okay. So who you're making dinner for? Is it Forehead? No. Yes, Hinata. I said, trying to figure out who the hell it was. No. Tenten. No. Then who? So I can kill her. I almost yelled at him. I was hoping. Oh man, why did the old hag say that? You have a date with Tsunade-sama. My jaw drops to the floor. You? No. I was going to ask you to come over to dinner, he said, blushing. Oh. I blushed. Yes, I have a date with Naruto-kun, take that, Forehead. So when do you plan to do it? I asked. Tonight if that's okay with you, he smiled at me. Sure, how about 8? Sure, see you then, he said and then walked out of the shop. Oh, Kami, I was in heaven. First, I woke up in the bed of my loved one and now I'm going to have dinner. Wait. Can he even cook? I hope he doesn't make ramen or something. Oh Kami, what am I going to wear? I need to go shopping. And do my hair and nails, oh my god. I'm screwed, I'm running out of time. I got to my apartment and put the groceries in the kitchen, even though I'm not a big fan of vegetables, I do eat them from time to time. So first, I cut the meat and put it in a bowl with some spices to rest. Then I made the soup and the rice. I opened a bottle of sake and poured a cup to drink it while I cook. After that was done, I tied up the apartment and finally took a shower. Man, I needed some hot water to soften my sore muscles. As I was in the shower, I thought about my talk with Ino. So you like her more than a friend? Maybe, I mean she's beautiful and I like being around her and it feel nice to wake up near her. Feel her breath on my neck and how warm her body felt against mine. Her delicate arms wrapped around me. Her chest pressed against my back. Wait, stop it, you pervert. I turned off the water and dry myself. Maybe I do have feelings for her. I chuckle a bit as I put out of the closet a black t-shirt and a white button-up long-sleeve shirt that I left open and I rolled up the sleeve so I can finish cooking. Some black pants and went to the kitchen to start the meat. I set up the table and finished the last of my drink. I looked at the clock. 8:11. I sat on my bed and turned on the TV. As I waited for my blonde friend to arrive. 15 minutes later, there's a knock on my door. I got up and tried to comb my hair one last time. Even though I know it's a lost cause. As I opened the door, my breath was caught up on my throat. Wow, there at my doorstep was the most beautiful girl in the whole world. Ino had her hair down of her usual ponytail. A black top that left one shoulder bare, a black miniskirt and black strapped sandals. That miniskirt drove me crazy. It showed her long legs. It took me a while to come back to my senses and stop all the perverted ideas that run through my mind. Hey Foxy. Can I come in or are you going to keep staring at me? She said in the sexiest voice I've ever heard. Sure, come in, I mumbled as I stepped aside. She walked in swaying those hips from side to side. I was almost in a trance. I couldn't look away. Oh man, keep it cool, I said to myself as I closed the door. Do you want a drink? I asked to the goddess that was in my home. Sure, she giggled as I tripped on the carpet. Damn it. I cursed under my breath. So you did cook. It smells good, she said as she played with her long platinum hair. Do you doubt me? I said as I got her a cup and filled both hers and mine. No. And it's not ramen, that's a surprise. I eat other stuff too, you know, it's just that ramen is fast to make and the most delicious food in the world, I said as I sat down and took a sip of my drink. I'm just joking, you know, I like ramen too. Just not as much as you, she giggled. Really? Yeah, after you left, I was curious about why did you always ate it at Ichiraku's. I mean, yes, I had ramen before, but I didn't saw what it was about it that made you crazy over it, so I went and bought a bowl, and it did tasted wonderful, but I still don't get why you like it so much, she said as she took her cup and drank a sip. I chuckled and gave her a foxy grin. I don't go there because of the ramen, even if that's a big part of the reason why I go there. I go to Ichiraku's because Am-chan and Tucci-san are like family to me. Did you know my mom would go there almost every day when she was pregnant with me? I said as I stirred my sake. You know who your parents were? She said, shocked. Yeah, I've known for years now, I sipped my drink. And you didn't tell anyone? She said, a bit shocked. Well, no one asked me. The only ones that know are Bachan, Shizune, Yamato Taichu and Kakashi-sensei. So are you going to tell me? My mom's name was Uzumaki Kashina, she was loud and a tomboy. She was a great kunoichi, but she wasn't born in Konoha. Her village doesn't exist anymore. But my dad was the greatest, you wouldn't believe me if I told you who he was, I said, laughing. So you get your personality from your momna? She said, raising an eyebrow. Pretty much. So who was you dad? She drank a bit more. Beyond aim, she spitted her drink all over the room and I laughed. I knew I would get a reaction, but this was too much. But she screamed. Yeah, even I couldn't believed it, he even told me he believed in me. That was a freaky talk. What? You talked to him? But isn't he dead? He died when he sealed the Kyuubi in you. How can that be possible? Her jaw was on the floor. I laughed at her expression. Well, it was a freaky reunion, you know, I haven't told anyone this, only Kakashi-sensei, so this can't leave the room, she nodded, and I could see her eyes were focused on me. Waiting for my story, I was only going to talk about my dad because I didn't want to scare her telling her about my mom too. I could feel my cheeks turning red under her gaze, I tried to focus on what I had to say. I took my cup and drank it all. Okay. So I was fighting pain and he had me pinned on the floor and Hinata came to help me. She said she loved me and then attacked, but I couldn't continue because Ino spilled her drink on me again. She said she loved you? She screamed. Yeah, in the middle of the fucking fight. We'll talk about that later, go on, she said as she poured herself more sake. I just hoped she wouldn't spill it again. So, she attacked Pain. He sends her flying, they fought a while, and then he kicked her and left her unconscious. I saw her not getting up and I lost it. I tapped into Kyuubi's chakra. Inside the seal in my mindscape, I was about to tear the seal and let Kyuubi out when a hand grabbed me and took me away from the seal and the cage. I was so lost I didn't notice who it was. When I looked up, there in front of me was the yondaime, the man since I was little was my idol, my hero, I wanted to be like him. I only looked at him in awe. Then he told me he didn't expect it for that to happen, but he was also glad he could get to see his son. I couldn't believe it. He, the yondaime. The one that made my life shit because of that stupid fox sealed inside me, was my father. I was so angry and happy at the same time. I didn't know what to think or do. Then we went to this white place, and when I realized what the hell was happening, the first thing I did was hit him and yell at him for sealing the stupid fox inside me. He said he was sorry and that he couldn't ask another family to sacrifice their children if he as Hokage couldn't do it himself. I guess he was right. And then we talked about Pain and that it was Madara, the one that made the Kyuubi attack the village when I was born. After he fixed the seal, he said he believed in me and that he loved me, and so did my mom. I finished pouring myself another drink. And all of this happened in your mind? No, the seal and my mind are two different things. My dad said he put some of his chakra and when I went 8 tails it activated his image, clone, whatever it was. Wow, if your dad was the yondaime, how come you have your mom's name? I will next year. When I'm 21, and also I will get his house and money. I don't have it yet because it was a secret and also because he made many enemies on the Third Ninja War, Iwa being the most dangerous of all. So, what was his name? The yellow flash, Namikaze Minato. I sipped my drink. So Namikaze Naruto, when are we going to eat? Or are you trying to get me drunk? Hehe, sorry, I'll bring the food right away. I got up and went to the kitchen. Namikaze Ino has a nice ring to it, Ino thought, and she giggled. Do you need help, Namikaze? No, I'm good. I putted the soup on the table and then went to get the rice and the meat. So I'm Namikaze now. Yamanaka. I said as I sat down. It'll be our secret for now, Foxy, she said, grinning. Wow, this looks great. Hope you like it, Ino-chan, I said, grinning. Itadekimatsu, we both said. Wow, Naruto-kun, I'm going to come more often for dinner, this is great. I blushed. You should feel lucky, you're the first person I've ever cooked for. I gave her a foxy grin. So, why did you ask me to come for dinner? She said as she served herself another bite of meat. I wanted to thank you for being there for me last night, also because I like talking to you, I feel like I can tell you anything. I'm glad you can me, because I trust you too. You know, I never got to thank you for being there for me when Asuma-sensei died, you really helped me get better you know. That's what friends do right. I smiled at her. Yeah, oh hey, what did you said to Hinata after she told you she loved you? I told her I was flattered that she loved me for so long, but that I loved Sakura, so I couldn't return her feelings, and that I didn't want to lose her as a friend because of it. I think she likes Kiba now, and we're still friends so we're cool I said as I took a spoon of my soup. So that's why Kiba went to the flower shop the other day she said to herself. After dinner we kept drinking and talking, I was so caught up in the conversation I didn't notice it was 11:40 and what surprised me was that I didn't want Ino to leave. It's getting late she giggled. Yes it is I looked at her quack-colored eyes and tried to read them. What are you staring at Namikaze? She asked slyly. You I blurted without thinking. She blushed a lovely shade of pink and my mouth watered. Kami she's beautiful. Why? Do I have something on my teeth? She asked shyly covering her mouth with her hands. No, silly I laughed. Then what is it? I was just thinking how beautiful you are. You think so? She blushed even more. Of course Ino-chan, I'm sure you hear that a lot I said smiling. Yeah, she laughed. Hey Ino, why is a pretty girl like you still single? I asked her. I was very curious. I knew she had a lot of guys drooling over her, I'm one of those now. But she never gives them the time of the day. Haha, cause the guy I like is in love with another girl she said as she poured herself one last drink. That guy must be nuts not to notice you. Yeah, but I can't help it, he's everything I've ever wanted, even if he doesn't notice me like I want him to, I'm still only his friend. I'm sure he'll come around maybe you just need to tell him. Maybe hey do you walk me home? I don't think I can walk straight she giggled. Sure let me grab a coat for you and we're out I got up, pulled my orange jacket and passed it to her. As we walked through the streets of Konoha, we talked a bit more about nothing really, but his words earlier still echoed on my mind, maybe you just need to tell him. All the way from his home to mine, I tried to build up the courage to tell him how I felt, even if it seems soon, because only yesterday his heart was broken. I still felt like it was time. After he made dinner and all the stuff he trusted me with, the least I could do was telling him. I owed him that much at least. As we walked maybe not walked, more like danced to the doorstep, cause we were swaying from side to side as we walked. I put my back on the wall to help me support myself. Naruto was in front of me. His hands were also on the wall to keep him steady. I looked into his eyes and I knew now was the time. I pulled myself off the wall and got closer to him. He didn't move, which was good. Thanks for walking me home Naruto-kun I said as I hugged him. No problem Ino-chan he said next to my ear, his warm breath sent shivers down my back, I pulled a little away and I kissed him on the cheek. You're the one I like Namikaze I whispered and pulled away from him. She stiffens a bit, his eyes grew wide and I smiled to myself. Night Naruto-kun I opened my door and as I looked back he still looked dumbfounded trying to say something, I chuckled. As I was closing the door, I heard a low night Ino-chan. I walked into my apartment and took a big breath. I did it, I said it. I squealed and giggled like a schoolgirl. And I'm going to attribute this immature display to the alcohol I consumed this night. I run to my bed and I notice I still had his jacket. I put it closer to me and I breathe in his scent, it smelled like a forest after the rain, I closed my eyes and drifted to sleep thinking about him. Kami how I wish I could have slept with him like yesterday again. Well I got left his imaging it right. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. Chap 3. Thinking not thinking and a mission. I think near the end I lost my touch with the flow of the story, but bleh. Just one more chap and we're all set haha sorry for the long wait. But I've been very busy. And somewhat depressed, but now I'm back on my game for the few short minutes I have free. Don't expect the next chapter to come soon. Damn it. I said under my breath. Come on Piggy it's that all you can do? Sakura said as she threw a kunai at me. I shouldn't have got drunk last night my head it's killing me, I don't know how Tsunade-sama does it, I'm never going to that bar again. I don't know how Forehead doesn't have a headache, maybe she knows a technique to cure hangovers. It would be awesome if it existed, girls night out my ass. She just did it to spice me today damn I didn't even want to train anyway. I thought as I dodged the kunai and threw some shuriken at the pink-haired giant's forehead. Stupid forehead challenging me to a fight, I'll show her, I'm going to win, and then sleep, yeah bed here I come. I lunged at Sakura and went for a kick on the head as she dodged the weapons I'd thrown just a few seconds ago. But instead of dodging to the left as I'd thought she went backwards. That bitch I yelled in my head. She followed the kick as she spun her head to the side, her body twisting as she did so. Is she a fucking contortionist or something? I wondered. Then she lunged her fist at my ribs. But I blocked her with my arm. Thank God we'd ruled out chakra enhanced fist and, unfortunately, my clan's jutsu. I jumped away as I saw her other fist charge forward. I took a deep breath as I did some hand signs. Suiten. Sahachi, I yelled as I raised my hand and shot a stream of water toward Sakura, making her jump to the side. I quickly moved my arm in her direction, but the sneaky bitch punched the ground to try and cover herself with a piece of the ground that she'd ripped apart. That's better, pig, but not quite well, she smirked. Sakura ran at me with a kunai in hand. I too grabbed one from my pouch and run at her. We clashed in the middle of the training field. Both looked at each other's eyes with resolve and determination to win our match. We back away and start a series of hand signs. Suiten. Miserapa, I yelled. Oten. Doryuso, yelled Sakura. As we were about to launch at each other again, we heard a yell. Sakura, Ino, stop. We turned to see an Anbu with two buns on top of her head. Tenten, I thought. Hey guys. Sorry to interrupt, but I was sent to tell you, Sakura, that you need to go to the hospital ASAP. Sure, I'll be right over, Sakura said and run away to the trees where we left our things. So how have been, Ten? I asked a dragon-masked girl in front of me. I've been okay. Lots of work and no fun. I'm so looking forward to the party tomorrow, she said with a happy tone. Sure, me too, can't wait to see all those hot Anbu teammates of yours, I said with a mischievous smile. Yes, I know. I love Naruto, but a girl can still look right. Besides, I'm still single, so I might as well enjoy it. I just want to see everybody. It's been ages since we all hang out together. Yeah, you're right, I smiled at the brunette, so I'm going back to my house. It was nice seeing you again, Ten. I said as Sakura ran back with our stuff. I know, she said as both disappeared in a cloud of smoke, leaving a few leaves on their previous spot. Since it was still early and I didn't feel like going back to the house. Too much adrenaline flowing in my veins from all that fighting and stuff. I decided to grab my weapons, and all the scattered ones too, and directed my steps towards the target place on training ground 5. As I got there, I started practicing my aim. Weapons weren't my strongest area, and if wanted to get a promotion and get into Anbu, I needed to be at least better. Sure, I wanted to be inside the tea department like my dad. But it was just so boring, I wanted action. And so, I needed training. I tried to concentrate on what I was doing, but I kept thinking on what I said to Naruto 2 nights ago. Maybe it was too soon and I screwed up everything. And now things between us are going to be awkward. Maybe he doesn't even like me in that way, just like he didn't like Hinata Okami. Why did I ever said that thing in the first place? Oh yeah, I was drunk. I threw another kunai towards the target. What am I going to do now if he says he doesn't love me back? I don't know if I can see or even talk to him again after that. I don't know how Hinata did it. Maybe I can ask her for some advice. Yeah, I'm going to talk to her later, cause she's probably busy right now. I kept throwing my weapons to the target until a lazy jonin with an orange book showed up. Yo. He raised an arm waving at me, but never taking his eyes away from the book. I sweat dropped. Is he always like this? Ino-san, Hokage-sama wants to see you. And I heard the Hokage's voice said inside her office. You wanted to see me, Hokage-sama? I said as I opened the door. Yes, how did your date went? She said and I blushed. How did you know? I asked shocked. Because the brat came to ask me for some advice. So is it true that he can cook? Yeah, and it wasn't Ramen, I said with a big smile. So the blonde Hokage began her interrogation against a possible suitor for her brat's attention. Am I to assume that you have feelings for the brat, correct? Yes, Hokage-sama, I had them for a while, but I knew he liked Sakura, so I didn't say anything cause I knew I didn't have a chance with him. I said as truthfully as I could. I see, she said. I hope you know that if you or anyone breaks his heart, I will see personally that she suffers a terrible punishment. She glared at me, but I can see that you truly care about him and that he cares for you too, but that's not why I made you come today here. Really? So I have a mission. I said more calmly. Yes, your team will be in the East Gate in an hour. You'll be briefed there. You're going on an A-rank mission with Team Kakashi. You'll be Sakura's replacement because Sakura's in the hospital doing an urgent procedure. Now you're dismissed, said the Hokage with a shooing motion with her hand as the other went on the hunt for the hidden sake she had stashed in one of the drawers in her desk. Hi Hokage-sama, I said and Shunshin to my apartment to prepare for the mission. Great, just what I needed, a mission with Naruto. This won't be awkward at all, I sighed and went to do my backpack. Scrolls check, kunai and shurikens check, explosive tags check, ninja wire check, food, water check, soldier pills, medical kit check, cloths, sleeping bag, towel check, personal stuff check. Okay, I'm done. Now I can get a sandwich and tea and then head out to meet with the team. 15 minutes later I closed my apartment and walked towards the eastern gate. My stomach had butterflies flying all around and not for the first time, I felt like a 12-year-old girl gathering the courage to tell the boy she likes that she loved him. Only I didn't felt this nervous at 12 as I declare my undying love for Sasuke all those years ago. As the gate started to come to view, all I wanted to do was to go back to my house, get in bed and don't come out until 2 or 10 years later. Okami, why did I ever told him? Stupid, 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 now I'm going to crash and burn, just please let it be quick so I can sulk in sorrow and depression. Okami, I need a drink. As I stopped in the designated gate the team would be meeting, I only saw one figure standing casually against a tree with his hands inside his pant pockets and a scowl marring the pale face of the last Uchiha. Hey Sasuke, where's the rest? I asked, trying to be friendly, but not as the girl who worshipped the ground he walked on anymore. That was reserved for another boy now. HN was his reply. Sasuke, you know, I don't speak Uchiha, so could you please elaborate? I said, flicking away the hair in front of my eyes. I said that they should be here any second now. Well, at least the dope should be, Kakashi. Well, that can be from minutes till 3 hours from now, that's why we say the hour we're going to get here wrong, he said. A slight twitch from the corner of his lips was visible for only a fraction of a second, but as I was trained to see every twitch in a person's body for interrogation purposes, I saw it, and I nearly gasped at the significance of said uncontrolled, to an extent, show of emotion. So all I did was stare and stare some more. Uchiha, all I want is revenge. Sasuke has just almost smiled at the thought of the little annoying quirk of his old teacher. It almost made him seem a little more human in her eyes. It was also a surprise that said Sasuke had answered her question. And he didn't even scowl or glare at her. Maybe his relationship with the pink-haired girl has done some good to him after all. And so, still on a daze, I rested my back against a tree nearby and tried to make sense of this new development. He has late, he knew, and he wasn't very keen on going now because of the beating he would receive from a very annoyed pink-haired Kunoichi. He really didn't want to deal with all the lovey-dovey shit they would pull throughout the entire length of the mission. On the bright side, he had Kakashi there to talk to, or annoyed to death. The grin formed on his lips. Yes, anything to escape the vivid dreams he'd had lately, all of them weird in his opinion. Because the star of all his dreams was a blonde blue-eyed girl who just a night before declared very subtly her love for him. He'd been in a daze lately, he still couldn't believe a girl like Ino, who could have any guy in this village, would choose him, out of all of them. All thoughts about pink hair and green eyes vanished from his mind so quickly after those words escaped from those full pink lips of the blonde girl that he'd felt lost. He'd loved Sakura for so long now. That this new development had him out of his comfort zone. Sure, he'd had girls declare her love for him, but he couldn't see himself with Hinata, not when Sakura was still there and non-attached to someone. But now that he'd seen it with his own eyes that Sakura was no longer single, he could move on. Fall in love with another girl and be happy. That's why, when Ino had told him that he was the boy she had feelings for, he was out of the loop. Could he really move on and fall for Ino? Was his subconscious telling him through dreams that Ino was the right girl for him? Or just because she'd said those words he finally realized that there were more girls besides Sakura? And that he deserved to be happy for once? He didn't know. But he'd had all this mission time away from the village to find out his feelings towards the blonde Yamanaka. Yes, he'd had all the time in the world to think on this mission about his more recent thoughts and possible feelings. Sakura would be too busy drooling over Sasuke, Sasuke will be his usual antisocial self, and Kakashi will be too entranced by his perverted book to notice the loud boy had gone quiet as he muled over his thoughts. So this mission maybe was a miracle after all, and not a torture as he's first thought it would be. So finally arriving at the meeting spot, he had to do a double take. What was she doing here? Sometimes he wondered if the gods had a thing for making his life miserable. Hey Naruto. She said with a big smile on her face. Sasuke just looked down from where he was perched in a tree branch to acknowledge his presence. Team, Ino, I said back to her cheerful response. Really? Was Bachin out to get him too? Where's Sakura? I asked to the team. Noticing how Ino's smile dimmed a little at the question. She has to stay in the hospital for a while, so she's here to replace her as our medic, plus she's good at scouting, from what I heard, responded the team. I blinked at him. He blinked back. You actually said all of that in English? And not Uchiha grunts and stuff? Sasuke glared. And I just blink again. Oh my god, the world was coming to an end. Save the children and the women. Run for the hills, the end is coming. HN, he grunted. Ah, that's more like it, I was beginning to panic. Seriously team, don't scare me like that. I gave a relief sigh. Ino blinked, having missed some kind of inside joke or something. I only smiled and shook my head. She's better off not knowing how close to total destruction the world was just a few minutes ago. I put my pack near the wall and leaned against it. It was such a beautiful day, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, Sasuke was brooding, Kakashi was late. All was okay in the world. Several minutes later Kakashi was there and the 4 ninja left the city. The mission scroll says the guy they needed to take out was. One thing I never would have guessed, having not been witness of this event, was that Naruto could be quiet and very stealthily. Really, the man moved like a shadow, the three of them did really, and that left her feeling a little out of place. She was the only one make some kind of noise, even if it was minimal, and wouldn't give them away really, but it was frustrating. None of them spoke to each other, they only glanced and blinked, little movements or twitches of one muscle or hand, and they all understood where they're heading or some shit they were saying. She didn't know really. How come a twitch of an eyebrow transformed in a need for a break, or the movement of a pinky, a need to go to a nearby tree to take a leak? Besides, they were running like a fire was chasing them. Really, what was the hurry? Maybe being in a team with a lazy ass and a black hole for stomach had spoiled her a little bit, she was used to make a little breaks here and there, but this team it was like they were machines. Didn't they need food? It was already getting dark and all she'd have as far as food goes was the sandwich and tea she had this morning and it was 6:30 in the afternoon. She was hungry, tired, and ready to explode if someone didn't order a break now, she would literally fall from the branch as a sack of potatoes. She was panting, trying to conceal her heavy breaths as they once again jumped from branch to branch. The blonde of her dreams looked at her direction from the side, only to receive a glare in return. She was tired and grumpy. She needed a break now. Sensing the mood of the blonde girl beside him, he gave a low sigh and called the others to a stop. She was really grateful, but it didn't make the exhaustion or the mood she was feeling any better, she just collapsed on the ground and took a big gulp of water from her bottle. 3 sets of eyes followed her movements. She just glared at them. "I think we should make camp," said the blonde boy. HN was the Uchiha's response as he drifted towards the woods looking for some wood to make a fire. Kakashi just shrugged and put his pack on the ground and continued to read his book. Naruto sighed and went to retrieve some water from a nearby river or lake or whatever. She didn't really care, well yes she did care, but right now he just wasn't her priority. A few minutes later, they were all gathered around the fire, silently staring at the fire. Her started to twitch. She had always dreamed of being on a mission with these 3 individuals. She'd always envied Sakura for being a part of this team. But now she only felt pity for her friend. Really? No talk at all? Even Naruto had been quiet all day. What happened with the chatterbox she'd go with on missions when they were genin? Besides, he hadn't said a word to her, not even a sideway glance. Maybe he was trying to find the courage to put her down easy. Or just plain ignore what she said as he did with Hinata. Oh Kami, please don't let him ignore it, I couldn't live with a what ifs if he did that. But these thoughts still in mind, in a low voice I asked who's going to be first watch. Naruto and Sasuke looked at Kakashi, who without looking at them, eyes still glued to his book. First watch will be Sasuke, then Naruto, then Ino, and I'll take last watch. Both boys nodded and I quickly begging to prepare my sleeping bag near the fire to keep warm. Keeping my inner turmoil out my thought I finally succumbed to exhaustion and fell asleep. When it was finally my turn to take watch, I got up my sleeping bag and walked up a tree branch and sat down there to look at the stars. I really needed to clear my thoughts about Ino. The hours passed and even though I didn't want it to, I find myself remembering all the things Ino had said to me lately. But there was one thing that kept constantly playing in my mind. "You're the one I love." Those 6 little words she whispered in my ear that I never thought I would hear in my life, especially not from her. Really made me feel great. And it wasn't like the time when Hinata had said them. This time it was different. It felt different. That time when Hinata said them I wasn't thinking or didn't got time to process what was happening or what it meant, maybe it was because I only thought of her as a friend and nothing more. But Ino, how can begin to put into words what I felt when I heard her, when I looked at her afterwards, when I looked deeply into her eyes for just a few seconds. I felt like I wanted to hold her and never let her go, I wanted to melt in her arms, I wanted so badly to hear her say those words again. That meant I loved her too. I didn't even felt this way about Sakura, maybe I didn't love her and it was just a crush. An infatuation. I finally jumped down the branch to go and wake Ino up. "Hey sleepyhead, wake up," I gently shook her. 5 more minutes," she mumbled. I chuckled and moved her bang out of her face. "Wake up Ino, come on, it's your time to watch." "Naruto-kun," she whispered as she opened her eyes. "Yeah, come on get up so I can go to sleep," I smiled at her. She blushed. "What time is it?" "About 2, I think," I yawned. "Hey, I brought your jacket with me," she said as she got up from her sleeping bag. "You can have it until we get back," I grinned. "Hey Ino, I wanted to talk to you, you know about last night." I trailed as I saw her freeze up for a bit. "It's okay, we'll talk when we get back, now go to sleep." But I started, but she cut me off. "Namikaze, please just go to sleep, I'll promise we'll talk then," she said as she walked away. I looked at her until I couldn't see her anymore. What was she so upset about? Didn't she felt the same way I did? Was she playing with me or something? He thought as he arranged his sleeping bag and got down on the hard ground for a little sleep. "I'll just have to wait to know what all that was about." "Why did he had to bring that up?" she said as quietly as she could. She glanced back at the camp to where the guys were sleeping. She really needed to have a talk with Hinata. She was the only one that could understand what I was going through. I really didn't want to hear him say that he couldn't love me and that we were just friends. I'd rather die than hear him say those words. I started to play with the kunai as let the minutes pass. I looked at the sky for a while and saw a shooting star flying across the night sky. I was totally mesmerized at how beautiful it looked. I closed her eyes and made a wish. "Please don't let him break my heart," I said out loud. I looked away from the amazing view and I saw a shadow out of the corner of my eyes. I turned around with the kunai in my hand. "Who's there? Show yourself," I said loudly. Heart racing inside my chest. Why did we have to get ambushed on my watch? I whined in my head. As the figure got closer, adrenaline was pumping through my veins. Why? Oh God, why? Should I scream for help? My eyes traveled from the dark figure towards the camp, but I couldn't see it, the fire was out. Great, just great. I thought. I was about to scream when the dark figure came and covered my mouth. I closed my eyes and waited for death to come. Chapter 4. Don't you get it? What took you so long? I was so torn I couldn't sleep. The minutes passed, but I couldn't close my eyes and fall asleep. I needed to talk to her now. It couldn't wait, it had to be now. If she were playing games with me, it would be best to end them now. I got up and walked in the direction I saw her leave. I kept on walking until I saw her sitting down near a tree, playing with a kunai in her delicate hands, delicate but deadly I might add, eyes looking at the stars. I guessed because her back was facing me. I looked up at the same sky that had her so wrapped up that she didn't even sense my presence nearby. As I gazed at the heavens, I saw a shooting star traveling through the sky. That's when I heard her sweet voice murmur. "Please don't let him break my heart." I frowned. Who was the person she was talking about? It certainly could be him. Right. Oh, crap. Now everything was clearer in my head. So that was the reason she didn't want to talk, she was afraid I would reject her. I almost laughed. How could she think that? I stepped closer and was about to talk to her when she got up and said. "Who's there? Show yourself." I walked closer to her, but by her defensive stance, I realized she hadn't recognized me. I saw her averting her eyes from me to look towards the camp was located and I cursed inside. She was about to call for help and wake Kakashi and Sasuke. I couldn't let her do that. So I run up to her and cover her mouth just in the nick of time. With a low voice. Trying not to frighten her, I said. "Don't scream, it's me." That voice, I know it, but why was he here? "Naruto-kun," I said under his calloused hand. I opened my eyes to see those bright blue orbs I loved so much staring right back at me. "Why do you think I would break your heart?" he said to me, burning me under his intense gaze. "I don't know," I said to him, letting my eyes travel away from his. "Ino-chan, I heard you. Why do you think I would do that?" he said, making me look at him once again. "Because you already did that to Hinata," I scream at him. Tears slowly forming in my eyes. Why did he have to hear that? I didn't want him to know how much this affects me. Damn it, why do I have to be so weak? I closed my eyes, willing my tears not to fall from my eyes. I felt him freeze and I took the opportunity to back away from him, not wanting to show him the tears that had stubbornly not listened to me and had started their trek down my cheeks. "Ino, please don't cry," I heard him whisper, his voice concerned and remorseful, but I didn't care right now about his sympathy. I want him to go away. For him not to see how much of weak shinobi I was. Shinobi, nor kunoichi for that matter, show emotions. And I was breaking that rule right at this moment. I really wish I was strong right now, but I couldn't. Emptiness and shame and rage bubbled inside me at this moment. "I can't help it," I shouted back. "Just go away." "Hami, Ino stops crying," I shouted to myself. "I won't go away until you listen to me," he said. "I don't want to hear you. I know you don't love me. I know you still love her. Just forget I've ever said anything." I screamed again and turned once again, tears running freely down my cheeks now. I'm not even attempting anymore. Was I this pathetic? I heard him move and thinking he'd left me, I let out a sob. How I could let a man destroy me like this. It wasn't fair. How can I forget it? I haven't stopped thinking about it, don't you get it? He said, his voice almost a whisper. If it wasn't such a quiet night I wouldn't have heard it. But I did. I instantly stopped crying. Was he saying what she thought she'd heard? Slowly I turned around, facing him. Get what? A little ray of hope took perch in my heart. Butterflies flying happily inside my stomach. He locked his blue eyes with mine and held my gaze, the emotion raw in his bluer eyes, making my heart skip a beat. That I love you, that I can't stop thinking about you, that the last 2 days have been the happiest I've had in my life just cause you're here. That I don't give a fuck about Sakura, that it kills me to see you cry, that when you told me you loved me, I was the happiest man in the entire world. Do you get it now or do I have to continue? He said. Eyes never once leaving mine. I was dumbfounded. Did he really mean it? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I really wanted to though. I wanted to run to him and kiss him. Another part of me was still skeptical to all his words. That part was telling me that maybe he was feeling lonely now that Sakura was with Sasuke and I just show up at the right time. And he just saw an opportunity and wanted to grab it and not let it go because there wouldn't be a next time or someone else. I averted my eyes at last and said, "Why now?" "Why now what?" he said, confusion marring his voice. "Why did you tell me this now?" I clarified, whipping my tears away. "Because you didn't wanted to talk to me before and it took me a while to understand what I felt for you. You know how dense I am in the romance department and especially with the way I feel about you. I've never felt this way about anyone before, not even Sakura," he said. That made me look at him again. Was he serious? But his eyes were shining under the moonlight, how could I not believe him when he looked at me like that? "Ino, I swear I'll die before I see you cry again," he said next to my ear, his hot breath fronting my neck and ear, making me shiver all over him as he wrapped his arms around me. "I'm sorry Naruto-kun, sorry I doubted you. I love you, I really do, I was just afraid, I've never confessed my feelings for someone else like this before," I said once again, sobbing into his chest. "Shh, it's okay Ino-chan, just stop crying, I'm here and I won't go anywhere," he said as he tightened his arms around me and run his fingers through my hair. It felt nice. "You promise?" I asked quietly. "I promise," he said as he kissed my forehead. Then I felt my feet leave the forest floor, sail through the air and finally land on a tree branch. I hold onto him tighter than before and just as I was perfectly balanced, I punch him on the side. "Ouch, that hurt you know," he said, rubbing his injured side. "Serves you right. You scared the hell out of me Namikaze." "Come here," he said as he grabbed my hands and I felt my back hit the tree. "What exactly do you think you are doing Naruto-kun?" I asked him. "What does it look like Yamanaka?" he said with a mischievous smile as he put my arms around his neck and put his around my waist. I blushed 10 shades of red in a second. "Oh my god, he's going to kiss me, going to kiss me," I was hyperventilating, my heart beating a mile an hour inside my ribcage. The blush I was sporting was not leaving my face, I felt hot and I couldn't move, I bit my lip in anticipation. The butterflies were going crazy inside my stomach, I was literally trembling in anticipation and it certainly wasn't for the cold air of night. I looked up to his lips as he slowly came down to meet mine, my eyes traveled up to meet his and I felt goosebumps all over me as his gaze locked on mine. Blue stormy met my lighter blue. My hands caressing his broad shoulders until they found his golden silken hair, pulling him closer to me, then the world melted and disappeared as his lips touched mine, with such sweetness and love, I felt so overwhelmed by his touch and smell, and God he was so warm. I tilted my head to the side and parted my lips a little, I guessed that this was his first kiss, the one with Sasuke doesn't count, and so I closed my eyes and licked his bottom lip, I felt him shiver, and I smirked. He opened his mouth and I gently touched his tongue with mine. The kiss was slow and sweet. We explored each other's mouths until I broke the kiss for a much needed air. He put his forehead on my shoulder. I could feel his heart racing on his chest. I smiled the biggest smile I could put on my face. That was I hear him whisper under his breath, his warm breath hit my neck, making me shiver and hold onto him tighter. "Yeah I know," I whispered back. "I love you," he said smiling. "I love you too Naruto-kun," I smiled back. We just held each other for what felt like forever, I was running my fingers through his untamed hair. Both content to be in each other's arms and keep us warm at the same time. My butterflies had subdued a little bit but they still hummed happily inside me. So this is what it's like to have a boyfriend, I mused internally. I looked up and found him looking back at me. I smiled, if this is what it was going to be from now on, she couldn't really complain. It was perfect. "It's time to wake Sasuke up," I said in a low voice, trying not to disturb the serene atmosphere we had created. But duty calls. And sometimes it was a bitch. "Yeah, let's go," he said quietly too, which I've never thought Uzumaki Naruto was able to. But hell, I love this whole new side of him I'm seeing. Love it indeed. He never let go of me and just shunshin at us back to camp. I went towards the dark-haired man and softly said, "Hey Sasuke, wake up, you're on." "Already?" he asked, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. This would have made me swoon before, but now I just smiled. "Yeah, get up, Naruto's making a new fire," I said and walked off to where Naruto was crouching. I put my arms around his neck and whispered in his ear, "Namikaze, do you want to sleep together?" As I felt him shiver, I ran my tongue along the shell of his ear. I said, "Sleep you perv, don't get the wrong idea." "Then don't tease a perv," he said, his eyes closed and a perverted smile, which would have put Jiraiya's to shame. I just rolled my eyes. "Come on," I grabbed his hand and we put our sleeping bags next to each other's. A little ways back stood Sasuke with a fond smile on his lips. Finally, the Raven thought. He'd always felt bad for the blonde-haired person, really, always chasing after a girl who wouldn't give him the time of the day. In that department at least. now had a girl who could really appreciate him. Ino from all his former fangirls was the only one who didn't stalk him, she just was a little pushy when it came to physical contact, but besides that she always left him alone. Sakura will freak when she hears this, he thought as he perched himself in a nearby tree. I gave her one more kiss before we laid down, you know, I'm glad it was you who came to this mission, I don't know if I could have survived the lovebirds and the lazy ass all by myself. Plus, I'd miss you too much, I said as I ran my fingers through her soft hair. So you'll miss me, she raised an eyebrow. Of course I'll miss you, even with you here I thought about you all the time, I said pulling her closer to me. I'd miss your smiles, and your screams, your lips, I said as I gave her a quick kiss. Your scent, all of you really, I finished looking and losing myself in her eyes. Oh Naruto-kun, you're making me blush, she said in an innocent tone. Come on, let's sleep, or else we'll be tired tomorrow and I would have to carry you all the way back. I wouldn't mind that, actually, she said smiling. I lied down and put an arm around her head rested on my chest. Night beautiful, I said, and then kissed her forehead. Night Naruto, she responded in between a yawn. I took a deep breath, inhaling her flowery scent. This was defiantly the best night of my life, and I promise nothing is ever going to happen to you, Ino, and that's a promise of a lifetime, Dadabeo. 2 days later we were heading back towards home. We had captured, interrogated and killed the target we were told to go after before he could massacre a family of war refugees in a small village on the border of Fire Country. I took this mission as training for when I get into Anbu. I could ask Kakashi-san for a recommendation, since he was an Anbu captain, and all, I'm sure he still has the reputation for his recommendation to be noticed, I thought as we jumped through the forest. Sasuke has been nicer to me since the first night we started this mission, and I still don't know why. I tried asking my blonde boyfriend, yes you all heard it right, boyfriend. I still can't believe it either, so I get you're all shocked as I am, but hey. A ninja's life is short anyway, so I asked Naruto why the Raven has been nicer to me at least, and all he said was I don't know, ask him as he continued to collect wood for the fire. But I knew he was lying. Later as I thought about it, I realized it was because he knew we were a couple, and I smiled as I realized that the prick that had a 10-foot-tall stick shove up his ass Sasuke really cared for the blonde man. And that he was truthfully sorry for all the damage he had done to Sakura and Naruto. We reached Konoha late in the afternoon. We went to report to the Hokage what we had found. After we made visual contact with the target, we proceeded to capture and interrogate him. With the help of Yamanaka-san using her family's jutsu, she found out that the refugees from Kumo were in fact spies from Iwa in Kumo, but were found and were escaping towards their home. We also recovered the list of spies and targets they carried. We don't know if they're spying on us or not, but we took care of them, as a safety precaution. Kakashi-san said it all in a monotone voice. I see, said Osamu Tsunade. Very well, Team Kakashi, you're all dismissed except for the brat. We all nodded at the command and I tried as quietly as I could to say I'll wait for you outside to the blonde next to me. He just gave me a small smile. After some minutes of waiting, I heard the blonde Hokage yell, Shizune, bring the sake, we have to celebrate. I just giggled as I saw Shizune's sweat drop and put out 2 bottles from somewhere under her desk. Hey Ino-san, I'm glad you all came back safe, she said to me as she walked into the office. Yamanaka. Get in here. I heard yet again the Hokage yell. As I entered, I saw Naruto rubbing the back of his neck and a grin on his face. You called Hokage-sama? I asked as politely as I could without showing fear. I knew how much of a mother hen she could get around the blonde-haired baka, looking all sheepish in the corner of the room. Now, there's no need to be so formal, I'm so happy now that our brat is a man now. She whipped a fake tear from her eyes. Besides, we're practically family now, so call me Tsunade, she said as she walked towards me and pulled me into a bear hug. I mean really. I know she cared for Naruto, but not to the point that she would actually strangle me with her huge assets. From the corner I could barely register Naruto's panicky voice yelling at the blonde woman, or should I say bear. To let me go. I know she's super strong, but geez, she totally was going to break my spine if she kept it up. Oh, shit. I'm sorry Ino, it's just I couldn't believe that he finally got a girl, she said as she jumped at the desk and poured sake for all 4 of us. What? Tsunade-sama, are you saying that Naruto-kun and Ino-chan are together? Shizune asked, shocked. Why is everybody so shocked? He whined in the background. Maybe it's because no one can believe that the hottest girl in Konoha is head over hill in love with you? I said grinning. Come here brat, have a drink. Tsunade handed him a cup. Here's to Ino and the brat. We all laughed and joked, much to Naruto's expense, but he couldn't quite wipe the huge grin off his face. Hey Naruto-kun, she said as we walked towards Ichiraku's for dinner. All that sake was starting to get to my head and I needed to eat something. All we had as we traveled were those gross ration bars. They were even worse than Sakura's soldier pills. I actually shuddered at that thought. Yeah? How do you think everybody is going to take the news? Truthfully, I don't care, as long as you're with me, I don't care what everybody thinks, I said as I looked at the sunset. Orange and purples, just like Ino and me. As I looked back down the road, I saw a glimpse of pink and black inside Ichiraku's. So Sakura and Sasuke were there as well. Ino, do you care what people may think about us? I asked her as I stopped near the shop. No, but I don't want you to feel worse if people start talking about us. I know you're used to the glares, but that's not fair at all, and I love too much to care what others think. All I care is what you think and feel, so even if everybody hates our guts, I say to hell with them. I'll always be there for you. And you better hear me well, Namikaze, because I'm just going to say this once, and only once, got it? She said, looking into my eyes, as if searching for something, and I just nodded dumbly. She put her hands on each side of my face, looking tenderly into my eyes, all warm and no other emotion in her eyes that could make me doubt the sincerity of her next words. And I just waited, holding my breath. You, Namikaze Naruto, are stuck with me now and forever, got it? Determination and love clearly in her eyes, and my heart speed up inside my chest. And I just smiled, stupidly at first, but then a real heart-stopping smile, and I know because she blushed a pretty shade of red. Dreamily I whispered, what did I ever do to deserve you? I'll never know. My eyes dropped from her eyes to her full pink sparkling lips. Her eyelids dropped a little, and her eyes darkened just a little as she too dropped her gaze towards my lips, both thinking the same. Our lips connected, it was slow and full of warmth. As the need for air was greater, we pulled away from each other. Her lips were swollen just a little bit, the red of her cheeks was slowly going away, and her eyes were still glued to my lips as I licked them in cherry lip gloss. It wasn't as bad I'd thought it was going to be. Glad you got it, she said, her voice low and seductive. Now let's go, I'm starving. I just smiled at the double meaning, but I let myself be dragged anyway towards the ramen bar by the pushy, bossy and very sexy blonde girl that not even on my wildest dreams would have thought I could call mine. As she pulled the red curtain to the side, she asked very curiously, so Naruto, what's good here? I like the miso and the pork one, but the beef ramen is also good, I said in lecture mode, trying to sound very serious. It was ramen we were talking about here. But I heard her giggle anyway. Hey Naruto. You're back, the owner of stand said behind the counter. Hey old man. I'll have the usual, I said, turning back and grinning to the old man. At the sound of the blonde boy's voice, Am lifted her head from the pot she was stirring and looked at their best customer. She'd always thought the boy was cute, with his big blue eyes and his shaggy sun-kissed locks. But looking at him now, she could see he would become a heartbreaker if he weren't one already. My Naruto-kun. Who's the lady? Is she with you? The girl asked. She's Ino-chan, and she's my girlfriend, the boy said, warm and happiness shone in those bright eyes, and it made the ramen girl to hear that the blonde now had someone to care for and who would care for him as well. It was always so sad to see such a bright boy alone. She knew why it was too. She'd always known. And it really warmed her heart to see the love so clearly the blonde girl had for the child that she'd always thought as a little brother. So she would give them her blessing with a smile on her face. Naruto was smiling a 1,000-kilowatt grin while the girl in question was blushing brightly. Am couldn't help but squeal like a fangirl, they were so cute. Everything was going great until they heard a screeching what from their right. They all turned their head towards where the scream came, and they found a head full of pink and the iciest green eyes that were glaring bloody murder to the blonde girl next to him. And a head of raven black hair still styled as the end of a duck's butt. Why are you screaming, Sakura? I'd already told you about this, Sasuke said as he continued slurping his bowl of noodles. Really? Squealed Am behind the counter. Beep, officially Ino and I are a couple, I smiled to the ramen girl. Congratulations, brat, it was about time. Tucci said, smiling wide, looking at his expression. I almost wondered if my dad would look like that if he was alive, and I took Ino to dinner to meet my parents. A little sad that would never happen. I try to think of something else. So Ino-san, what can I get you? I think I'll have miso, she said, smiling and her blush not gone yet. Pig. Why are you with him? Screamed Sakura. Forehead, why do you care? You have Sasuke and I have Naruto, she answered, the pinkette grabbing my hand as a sign that we were together and it wasn't a joke. I don't believe this. Are you doing this just to get back at me for dating Sasuke-kun? That's it. Listen, forehead, I don't care if you are with Sasuke, Shino, Kiba or even Lee for that matter. I've loved Naruto for years now, but I never said anything because he loved you, but now he loves me. No one asked for your opinion, so keep it yourself. She screamed back at her, not that I would blame her, but I was taken aback. She'd loved me for years. How come I never realized this before? I said, shocked for two reasons. The first, I was shocked to hear that confession, and second of all because they have never screamed at each other like that before. It was always friendly completion, but now I could tell Ino was pissed. No Naruto, it's not okay, if you let her trash you like this for years I won't stand let it keep happening, she said to me, but then she pointed a finger at Sakura. Venom dripping from her voice, and if you ever even think to put a finger on him, I will personally kick your sorry excuse for an ass until next year, got it? And if you are implying that I don't love him and this all a joke just to get Sasuke's attention, then you are no longer my friend, a fellow shinobi or even a person to me, got it? It was said in the creepiest scariest voice I've ever heard coming out of her mouth. Really, I was totally dumbfounded and amazed at this girl. This lovely, gorgeous, beautiful girl. And she was all mine. God, I love bossy and scary women, it was such a turn on. I pushed away those thoughts when I hear Sakura say, how can you say something like that? How can you end our friendship over something like that? You ended for something that wasn't even true to begin with the first time, said Ino in a defeated tone. It was just a rumor. Now I got a good reason. How would you feel if I say that you're with Sasuke just to get back at me? And just to prove you win? She asked, crossing her arms in front of her chest, a cocky eyebrow raised, begging her to disagree. That's not the same. I love Sasuke-kun, Sakura defended herself. And I love Naruto. Now can I enjoy my dinner, or do you have another question? I saw Sakura lower her eyes and give a sigh. I really felt bad, but angry at the same time. Wasn't she supposed to feel happy for me? I was out of her hair, as she put it. I wouldn't be chasing after her again or pestering about dates or anything. Which was good, right? Arg, it was all just too confusing. I don't think I'll never understand girls. Really. Let's go, Sasuke-kun. Sakura stood up from the bar stool and started walking away. Sorry dude, I'll talk to her, he started saying as he left enough money on the counter. But I waved at him, stopping him. Don't worry team, she'll get over it, I grinned at him and he smirked back. Good night Ino-san, Usura Kachi, he gave a two-finger salute as he exited the shop. Hey Sasuke. I heard the blonde girl next to me turn around and yell at my teammate. Cut the formality, we're friends now, call me Ino, just Ino, and I grinned at her. Man, she's great, too bad you let her go team. I thought as I put my arms around her shoulders in a semi-hug. Okay Ino, see you around, the Raven finally said as he walked towards a fuming Sakura. I'm sorry for yelling at her, it's just I can't believe she said all those things, she mumbled into my neck as she lazy rested her head against my shoulder. I told you this was going to happen, I said as I run my fingers through her silky hair. I know, but why did she had to say something like that? It's like she doesn't want us to be happy or something. I know Ino-chan, but that was the worst because you care about her and it hurts right now, but she'll get over it and we have to too, I tried to calm her a little. Yeah, you're right, but I can't get out of my mind that she wants you all to herself or something like that though. Your orders are ready guys, AM said, breaking the mood, and I could feel my mouth watering at the aroma that filled my nostrils. Thanks AM-chan. As we both dig in, I couldn't help but think about what Ino had implied just now. She had to be kidding, there was no way Sakura had feelings for me when she finally had what she had chased after so long. I just had to resign myself that there will never be an us for Sakura and me, and even though it hurt, I couldn't compare it to what I felt about Ino. They were just so different but at the same time so similar. And what was that all about, ending their friendship the first time because of a rumor? Hadn't they thought about both liking Sasuke? Ino, why do you think she wants me? I couldn't help but ask. Really, what was going on inside that little head of hers? Because when we were having lunch the other day she asked about you and about why you hadn't asked her out or called her Sakura-chan recently like you used to do for Kami no how long. She was even considering talking to you about it. But I said that she was being paranoid and that you just forgot. Sometimes I felt like you were her backup planner, boy, whatever, if things with Sasuke didn't work out, you know. Or maybe she really loves you and is using Sasuke to rub at my face, she answered, playing with her noodles and looking intently at them as if they held the answer to some complex problem. You know, that sort of made sense. Why would she be hiding hooking up with Sasuke from me? It was like the golden ticket to get rid of me, but she never said anything. They never acted as a couple on missions, never shared a room in the inns we stayed at either. The silence was a little too much for Ino because she tried to light up the mood, trying to coax me from my gloomy thought. Can't we just stop talking about forehead and enjoy our first date as a couple? She smiled at me and all I could do was kiss her. I mean, I got the most amazing girl in all Konoha who likes ramen, stands up for her loved ones, gorgeous, a badass kunoichi who doesn't mind doing the dirty work, she's kind and good-hearted. But the best of all was that she loves me. Me, and not the hero, not the son of the fourth, not the Kyuubi container, just me, Naruto. And that was it. And I love her for it. Sure, then, as this is a date, do you want to go to the movies? Namikaze, are you a mind reader? She grinned at me and I couldn't stop the grin that formed in mine. No, I just love that much, I said as I put down my fifth bowl down the counter. Did I told you today that I love you? No, you haven't, I said, mock pouting. Because I do love you, she kissed me. That's good to hear, I said in between kisses, and she giggled. It's been the most amazing months of my life. Naruto is really something and I'm so glad he's all mine. I couldn't help but reminiscence about all the time we had spent together. All the dates, the inside jokes, the way he hugs me, kisses me, smiles at me. But now we are taking the big step. He's meeting my parents tonight. And I can't help but laugh at his lost expression trying to find something to wear. He really is trying hard to impress my dad. And I don't know why he is so nervous. It's not as if my dad will kill him or something like that. We haven't even done it yet and it's such a shame. All I've been thinking about at night is how hard I would claw his back as he marks my body with his lips for all the world to see. And I sometimes find myself licking my lips as I watch him take a gulp of water as we take a break from training. Or stop my dirty thoughts as I watch him flex his muscles, or keep my mouth from watering at the sight of his sweat glistening rock hard chest and abs, or how good it would feel to have him hovering above me, eyes dark and full of hunger and lust. Oh my. I'm doing it again. But really, you would be too, with the hot guy I call boyfriend. I don't know how I hadn't jumped him yet. Oh, right, every time we start something more intimate there's always someone bothering us. Be it a mission, or Sasuke, or Kakashi, or Shikamaru, or my mom. That is actually a funny story, but anyways I'm off track. Where was I? Oh right, meet the girlfriend's dad. Naru, please stop pacing, you're making my head spin. Sorry Haim, it's just your dad is really scary, he's the head of the tea department and he makes criminals cry for their mommy. And I'm about to go to the wolf's den and ask Air meet him for the first time and all he finished off lamely rubbing the back of his head. And I couldn't help but chuckle. Naruto, are you kidding me? You've fought the fucking Akatsuki almost all by yourself and you're afraid of my old man? Oh that's rich, ahahaha. He turns beet red and I couldn't stop the laughter that erupted inside me at the sight. Ahahaha, I was clutching my stomach so hard that I think it will bruise, but oh my god. It was just too funny. He was pouting, seriously pouting, and I was finally controlling my laugh. But one look and I started again. I knew, stop laughing and help me please. Haha okay, okay, I'm done haha. I kept snickering, but got up from his bed and walked over to the closet. I began to fumble and move all the clothes inside until I found some tight black jeans and a dark blue t-shirt, followed by a white button shirt but left open so that the leaf symbol was on display. A white belt and a leather jacket. I could already picture it, total bad boy look. Come on, put this on and hurry, my mom said 7 and it's already 5:30, I'm gonna go and see if mom needs some help with dinner, are you going to be okay? Yeah, I got. See you at 7, he said as he began his trekking towards the bathroom. Clothes in hand, but he paused mid-step and walked back. I grinned at him. See you Haim, he said and bent down to peck me. Don't be late or else, I said, my eyes narrowed but the grin was still firmly pressed on my lips. Yeah, go now before I kidnap you and never ever let you see the outside again. Oh, wouldn't you love that, pervert? Are you testing me Haim? Because if I do, I don't care who comes knocking down this door, I won't stop next time. That statement sent a pleasure shiver running down my spine. Okay, I'll go, I said as I walked out his bedroom and I was out the door before he could even blink. God, how I wish he would make that statement true. Seriously, if we are interrupted one more time I won't be held responsible for the spilled blood. I sprinted to my house. A happy skip in my steps. Everything was going so well. My mom loved him. And was secretly planning the wedding. Not that I minded that. But we've been together just a couple of months. But my mom keeps saying. You know, a shinobi's life is a short one. Live it to the fullest while you can. And I totally get what she's saying. And I see it every time I walk past Kurenai's place and see the little boy playing outside. In a shinobi's life, everything is possible, anything could and will happen, so you just have to make the most of it. Naruto knocked at 7 sharp. And I was at the door before the bell stopped ringing. I gave him a heart-stopping smile just to encourage him. I knew he was nervous, but I really meant what I said to him at his apartment earlier. My dad wasn't that scary really. He just wants what's best for me. And that just happens to be the blonde in front of me. It was a peaceful dinner. I could tell Naruto beginning to loosen up after the first bite. It made me sad and happy at the same time. It was probably the first time he had a meal made by a mother. Of course, he could cook and occasionally I'd prepare him a bento too. But you can't beat a mother's touch when it comes to cooking and my mom was the best. I could see it in his glazed eyes that he was thinking about his own mother. I wish I could have met her. I bet she would have been a great mom. I put my hand on his knee under the table and gave him a comforting squeeze. He turned to look at me and I smile, a secret smile saying to him with my eyes, I know what you're thinking and it's okay to be sad. But know that I'm here. He smiled and returned and I caught a knowing glance from mom and I knew she was thinking along the same lines. Sometimes I think my mom is physic. She always knows what everybody is thinking and feeling. At first, it unnerved me. But no, I know it's what all mothers have. Mother instinct or something like that because she wasn't a Yamanaka by blood. After dinner, I helped mom cleaning the table and drying the dishes. You should bring him more often, I heard her say as she washed away a bowl. Yeah, I know. And I smiled at her. Before we could continue, we heard an excited yell, and what probably freaked me out the most was that it was coming from my dad. What the hell? We practically raced to the living room, and what we found was something that had me go into a fit of laughter that I thought I would die from. My dad was jumping around the living room, laughing and shouting something about honor and happy and family. Naruto in his arms was a little green, but he had the biggest shittiest smile I have ever seen on his face. My mom, who wasn't laughing her ass off, caught what my father was saying and started to jump too. But I was a little out of it, so don't blame me. After everybody calmed down, my mom brought the steak out and I was outright blinking confusedly. What were we celebrating? Ino looked so adorable, all confused, and I was actually glad. Because it would have ruined everything I had planned for later. So after dinner, I took Inoichi to the living room and I easily got into the conversation I was trying to put out there to ask what I had in mind since about 2 weeks ago. I was so nervous. It was a big step, the one I was about to make. But it would be worth it. It was actually in a mission that I thought about this possibility. We were in a minor town. All kinds of jewelry were being sold and Sasuke needed someone to go with him for a present he wanted to give Sakura for some anniversary or something. I really wasn't paying attention. We were looking around when I found a ring. It was a simple silver band with the prettiest blue stones I've seen. They were 5 stones lined up in the center of the band. It was tasteful and not over the top. And in that instant, and on impulse, I went inside the shop and bought it. Sasuke just looked at me like I was crazy, which I probably was. But I shrugged at him anyway. It wasn't any of his business. He seemed to understand because he kept walking and looking for whatever it was that he was going to buy. What the hell had made me buy this thing? I thought once we were back at the inn. Was I really ready for the next step? I know we haven't been dating for long. But I can't help but want her by my side all the time. Have a home with her to come back to. Her face be the first thing I look at in the morning and the last thing I see at night. I want her to be mine and only mine. I want her to be forever in my life. I want to grow old with her, but I know that would probably never be. But I want it. So badly I think unconsciously I made the decision. How can I make her mine? How, he asks. How about by marrying her, you stupid boy? And there you have it. I got the ring. And its weight has been inside my pocket ever since. But now I need to ask her dad if I could have her. And I'm really hoping that he says yes, because I would die if he didn't, or kidnap her and flee the village. Screw being Hokage if I can't have her. That's how far I would go to be with her. She's everything to me. And I just hope I'm everything to her as well. So I take a deep breath and start. So, Yamanaka-san, but I'm cut out in the middle. Inoichi, Naruto, just Inoichi. Ah, Inoichi, sir. I know that you've only just met me and all, but I got something I would like to ask you, if that's okay. I said all in one go. My courage was slowly crumbling. All I have left is my resolve. I love her. She loves me. Naruto, I know more about you than you think. But it's okay, son. Ask away, he said mysteriously, and a shiver ran down my spine. See? How could I not be nervous? He could probably mind read me right now and know all the dark, deep secrets I've kept from everyone. Even the ones involving his daughter in very compromising positions and places. I was wondering if you would, could, want, ha ha, okay Naruto, deep breaths I thought, trying to calm my nerves. Okay, here it goes. Could I marry your daughter? I closed my eyes at the last part. I didn't want to see his reaction. I couldn't. I know I'm a supposed hero now. But I don't want to know if Inoichi thinks of me as a demon too, despite all I've done for the village. I waited with hold breath for his response. A pin could have dropped and the sound would have been deafening. I didn't open my eyes until I felt arms wrap around me. And I almost screamed. An almost very manly scream, I might add. But before I could comprehend what the hell was going on, I had the man suffocating me, because really, was he trying to kill me? This wasn't a hug. Oh my boy. Of course you can. It would be an honor to have you as my son-in-law. Man, your father would be beside himself if he knew, and he kept talking to himself as he spun me around the living room. Everything was growing kind of fuzzy after a couple of rounds. I could see 2 blurs standing on a door, one laughing, the other jumping like the maniac who had me in his powerful grip. I think I'm going to pass out. Or throw up. Whichever comes first. Ino's mom pried me from the jumping lunatic and hugged me just as fiercely, but not as bone-cracking as her husband. She smiled at me tenderly like all mothers do. And I returned it with one of my own. Cause from now on, and if Ino said yes, she would be my mom too. Oh Naruto, I'm so happy. I know you're going to make my daughter very happy. Oh Lord, we have to celebrate, this is huge. She let go of me and went about looking for the sake to toast or whatever. And finally my eyes found her. And she was clutching her stomach, tears falling from her eyes as she laughed. It probably looked funny, but it totally wasn't. I could have died from that hug. So that made me frown. But as her laughter died and she looked around, a cute confused look came over her face and my frown disappeared almost instantly. What kind of power did she have on me that I couldn't even stay mad at her for more than 3 seconds? Alright. Love. What are we celebrating? She asked. Ino. Can I talk to you? I said before I lost my nerve. She looked at me confused. I know I would be in her shoes. Sure. I took her outside. At the backyard, it really was beautiful, a perfect place for what I'm about to do. Naru, what were you going to ask me? I have something really important that I want to ask you and I need an answer now. I could tell she was nervous and worried, but she didn't need to be. It wasn't like I was trying to break up with her or something. Alright, what is it? She closed her eyes. And now I knew she was thinking the worst was about to come. I laughed in my mind. She was such a pessimist. Always barricading her heart before anything happened. Just like the time at that mission. I smirked and got down on one knee. She couldn't see it. And I let my grin grow. I took the little black box out of my pocket. And put it on my hand. I opened it and admired it again. It was perfect. Elegant, intricate, gorgeous, sexy. It practically screamed Ino. Ino. I know we haven't been together for long. But I feel like I've known you all my life. You were a really good friend when I needed one and an even better girlfriend, but unfortunately I don't want to keep being your boyfriend. I said all this in one go and I could tell the last statement will make her open her eyes and see me and I smiled. While the yell died in her throat as she looked at me. Her eyes growing larger as she took a look at what was in my hand. Is that what I think it is? Her voice shaky as she finished the last word. And I nodded. Yes it is Ino. I don't want to be your boyfriend anymore. I want to be your husband. Love, would you marry me? I looked up at her glistening eyes. Ooh oh. That's so romantic. Why didn't you ask me to marry you like that, Inoichi? Honey, put that down, honey. We heard the yell from inside the house and it made us smile. Yes, I'll marry you, Baka. She said, hugging me and kissing me all over, and I tried to pry her off of me so I could put the damn ring in her finger. When I finally managed it, she was transfixed. It's beautiful. Where did you got it? Somewhere. Do you like it? I love it. We heard some chairs falling and yells and I sweat dropped. Maybe I shouldn't have been afraid of Ino's dad, but instead I should be afraid of her mom. So I think we should probably save your dad. Nah, let him suffer a little longer. And you, mister. I can't believe you. You almost crushed me when you said that you didn't want to be my boyfriend anymore. I was this close to break your nose, she said, putting her pointer and thumb in front of my face with a hair's length in between them. I knew you were going to react that way. Jerk. But you love me. I know. What did I do in my past life to deserve this, she said, looking at the sky like it would give her an answer. I don't know. But I'm grateful, I said, kissing the pulse point fluttering in her neck. Idiot. Was her breathy response, and I knew that neither of us were going to continue holding out for long. The lust and want beginning to surface like every time I hold her in my arms and kiss her silly. My place? I asked against her ear, my hot breath making her shiver on the cold night. Yes, now. She said as she gripped my shoulders and wrapped her legs around me. A quick hand sign later and I was pushing her back against my bedroom wall. What if Ino kissed Naruto? Sasuke bashing, and thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.